Shalom and greetings, Governor DeSantis, General Moody, CFO Petronas, and Commissioner Freed, along with the distinguished guests from Florida and the state of Israel. Let us pray. Creator of the universe,
Hello, welcome to the conferencing system. Please enter the conference number followed by the pound key. Sorry, I did not recognize that conference number. Please try again.
Has a funny sense of humor.
It's the voice of God.
Sorry, I did not recognize that conference number. Please try. Sorry, I did not recognize that.
Yeah, we want to roll with the prayer.
If any of the rabbis in the room.
Hello, welcome to the conferencing system. Please enter the conference code now. Sorry, I did not recognize that conference code. Please try again.
Either way, it's not okay.
Sure.
All right, so we're going to change up and ask our Chief Financial Officer to give us an invocation.
If you'll please bow your heads. Dear God, thank you for this incredible assembly of men and women who have seen the greatest of greatest today. We have traveled the world to be here together, to be here with you, to be here with friends and family and those that want to unite together in the better for peace. Please give us the wisdom to make decisions that would best be pleasing to you, to give us the strength to make the decisions right by you, and to make sure that we leave this world in a better place for future generations. Thank you for giving us safe travel and passage here. Let our meetings be productive, and please give us safe passage home, and please look after our family, and friends. Amen.
Amen. All right, please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. It's great to be in Jerusalem today for this historical meeting of the members of the Florida Cabinet. I'd like to thank the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem for hosting us today. As some of you may know, this building we're in now used to be the U.S. Consulate, which was primarily geared towards assisting Palestinian Arabs. There was a consulate annex in the Arnona section of Jerusalem. That Arnona was where the groundbreaking was for the embassy last May. But then once the embassy was moved to Jerusalem, this has also been converted into the embassy. Technically, I think this is the annex, but because they're doing construction in Arnona, this has more people, and it's being used more by the ambassador. So this is where we find ourselves today, and this cabinet voted a resolution in favor of recognizing Jerusalem as Israel's capital earlier this year, and here we are doing this historic meeting. So I think that having the meeting here is symbolic of the friendship between Florida and the state of Israel. We've already done a lot on this trip, and we're going to do more over the next day and a half. But I think that the relationship between our state and Israel is very, very strong, and I think we have potential to do even more. So it's a really, really exciting time. I'd like to welcome our friends in Florida who are joining us in the cabinet room, if that is still, if they fix that. But I appreciate the Florida channel for streaming this, so people who are interested in it back home will be able to watch. And you guys were in Jerusalem, we may actually get some interest in our cabinet meetings for a change, which would be great. So I'd like to join with members of the cabinet today to present this resolution that we have recognizing the special relationship between Florida and Israel. Israel is a true friend of the United States. They're a great partner for our country, but also for the state of Florida, and in a region that is beset by all kinds of pathologies and problems. You know, Israel stands as a very tiny but very important outpost of freedom who shares the values that we hold so dear in the state of Florida. So I think it's a significant day. I'm proud to present the resolution, and I'll welcome any comments from other members of the cabinet.
I'll start, Governor. So 25 years ago, last month, was my first trip to Israel. It was after bearing witness to the atrocities that happened during the Holocaust. I was on what was called the March of the Living, where I spent 1 week in Poland going through Auschwitz and Birkenau and then making the trip here. The lasting impacts of that trip still impact me today. Because at that trip, I realized that I have a moral obligation to stand up for injustice, to fight for what is wrong in society, and to be that voice for those who have no voice. And I also vow to always protect and defend the state of Israel. And so 25 years ago, I made that pledge that I am so honored to be here today as a member of the cabinet, living up to the pledge that I made 25 years ago. But yet, Israel has changed. 25 years ago, we stood up for the state of Israel to make sure that the Holocaust never happened again. And the members of the Jewish community had a homeland and a place to always be. But the state of Israel has transformed itself in the last decade plus to not only be the homeland of the Jewish people, but to be a place for innovation, technology, research, to be a beacon for those who need freedom and those in the business community. So Israel is not only the home of the Jewish community, but they are also, in a geopolitical world, advances in technology, advances in agriculture, water conservation, cannabis, and of course, national security. So as the first member of the cabinet that has a Jewish female background, I am so honored to be here today and to share in this experience with the rest of the cabinet.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Other members?
It is truly an honor and so meaningful to be here. Governor DeSantis has shown and demonstrated leadership and insight that it is important to strengthen the ties between the state of Florida and the state of Israel. We are all grateful that he envisioned a cabinet meeting here and a trade mission to Israel. We have all been meeting throughout this week with individuals in the state of Israel related to what we do on a daily basis back in Florida, specifically related to security. I have personally visited with the former president of the Supreme Court and went to the Supreme Court here in Jerusalem. I can tell you Jerusalem and the state of Israel stand as a beacon of democracy in this part of the world.
Hello, welcome to the conferencing system. Please enter. I'll connect you to your conference now.
And they have excelled in technology in ways that we are learning from them. On a daily basis, we still learn from them. The meetings this week have demonstrated that. I have learned from things that they have accomplished, and we hope to institute some of that back in Florida. I can tell you what is most meaningful to me based on my previous career as a lawyer, a prosecutor, a judge, is that here in Israel they are also dedicated to the rule of law, and they have a firm understanding that the strength of a civilized and stable free society hinges on a legal system, a justice system that is fair, that is transparent, that is impartial, and not only that we ensure that those things happen, that the citizens we serve understand and perceive it as fair, transparent, and impartial. They are committed to those things just as we are in the state of Florida and will continue to be. I am honored to be here as the Attorney General, grateful for Governor DeSantis to his leadership, and proud to sign this resolution.
Governor, thank you for your leadership. Friends at home, thank you so much for joining us. what a historic opportunity that has brought us here together, but it really would not have happened as it wasn't for Governor DeSantis' bold agenda to make sure that we embrace our dearest ally in the Middle East, in Israel. An incredible opportunity to share, break bread, enjoy the fellowship of our friends and our allies, and then take it to a next level of expanding an opportunity of technological, financial services, agricultural, and environmental opportunities as we partner together. As I realize there are synergies between our two homes, it is more than just synergies. There's family, there's fellowship, there's love, and there's the care and embrace of a free democracy. The opportunities that have been brought forward this last few days with this trip has been amazing. And as from a young man from Northwest Florida, it's been humbling to be a part of such a unique opportunity. Governor, thank you for being so bold with your agenda. Thank you for allowing this opportunity to develop, and look forward to much more in our future working together.
Great.
I just wanted to add one more thing, Governor. I would be remiss to say that this is a bipartisan support for the State of Israel. The State of Israel and the support from America and from Florida doesn't see Republican, doesn't see Democrat. We are here united for the support of Israel, and we will stand firm behind the state.
Wonderful. So I move adoption of the resolution. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we've assigned, it's already been signed, sealed, and delivered, so that was a foregone conclusion. But resolution on the Israel-Florida partnership and relationship. So we're very, very happy with that. And, I think one of the reasons I wanted folks to come here is to, capitalize on some of these opportunities, particularly in the technology and research space. But you also get to see when you're on the ground how small of a country this is. I mean, when we were in Tel Aviv, if you look east, you see hills. There's a lot of people that say that should be given away, which would basically make Israel very vulnerable. So you have a very small country, very difficult to defend, although they managed to do it well. And yet, per capita, the innovation is probably more than anywhere in the world, probably by far. And so I just think it's a great success story. And even if we didn't, have as much synergy, particularly in Florida, it would certainly be something that I admire. One of the reasons why I think the success that we've seen with Israel has been so remarkable is because it's a very hostile neighborhood. If you look, the Gaza Strip is run by Hamas. You look north, you have Hezbollah. You have ISIS in parts of Syria, Assad in parts of Syria. You have this Palestinian Islamic Jihad. Of course, Iran has a shadow over the whole region. And so that's what they're dealing with. And these are not enemies that maybe just have a policy dispute with them. Every enemy I listed wants to wipe Israel off the map. And so Israel has had to deal with terrorism unlike any other country. We've obviously dealt with it in the United States, but not to the extent that Israel has done. And so in that regard, we're going to recognize Miriam and Eitan Fold to share with us their experience with the loss of Miriam's husband and Eitan's brother, Ari Fold, who was tragically killed when he was stabbed in a terrorist attack last year. Despite his wounds, Ari pursued his assailant and stopped him from attacking employees in the mall and probably many others. And his heroism was recognized when he was posthumously awarded the Medal of Valor, which is Israel's highest award for bravery. So Miriam and Eitan, thank you for being with us today. And please step up to the mic and share your story. We need it for the feed, so if you can speak in, if you can use the microphone, we'd appreciate it. Is the mic on? Yeah, okay, yep, it's on.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Members of the Cabinet, thank you so much for hosting us here today. 100 years published in 1896. I believe that a wondrous generation of Jews will spring into existence. The Maccabees will rise again. We shall live at last as free men on our own soil. The world will be freed by our liberty, enriched by our wealth, magnified by our greatness. If only those great men could see us now, our very own country, thriving agriculture and economy. These are all things that Ari was so proud of. On September 16, 2018, 8.5 months ago, Ari was stabbed in the back by a 16-year-old Arab boy who knew nothing but hatred for Jews. He had no respect for a fellow human being. He knew nothing of the sanctity of life. As we can see, hatred and anti-Semitism still surrounds us, even in our own backyard. Ari was a proud Jew, proud of his people and proud of his country. Ari never apologized for who we are or for what we are. Ari fought for what he believed in. Ari posted a lot overseas and on social media. And in one of his posts, in response to a terrorist attack and stabbing of a young woman, Ari reaches out to people abroad. And he says, our goal is simple, not allowing terrorism to win. Terrorism is not about killing people, it's about causing terror and causing fear. And Ari goes on to demand, stand with Israel. Don't give up on us. Don't give up on yourselves. Life goes on and we get stronger. Ari spread the truth on many social media platforms. He was equipped with all the facts, love for Israel and love for his fellow man. That is the legacy that Ari left for us. 300 years ago, the dream of Zionism was dreamt from the outside. But now we have our Jewish state and it belongs to us. Ari would have said, we're living the dream, baby. That's what Ari would have said. One thing we have learned the hard way is the amount of trauma and grief we have in our beautiful little country. This is the price we pay for being who we are. Ari and I have 4 beautiful children. Ari and I have 4 beautiful children. We raise them to be good people, to respect others, and to be good Jews, loving and living in Israel. That is Ari's true legacy, and it lives on through them. Thank you.
Are there any comments from members of the cabinet? I want to just thank Miriam for sharing that. I know it's not easy, but we very much appreciate it, and the story is very moving. So thank you for doing that. So one of the issues that's come up a lot on the trip has been water. Obviously, Florida has issues with water. Israel has huge issues with water. And so I'm happy here that I have Yossi Yacobi, who's the chief of staff to the CEO of Mikirot, Israel's national water company. It supplies 70% of the water in Israel, is one of the leading water production, supply, and treatment companies in the world. We are all keenly aware of the importance of water and water quality in both Israel and in Florida. So I'm eager to hear about the successes that you have had and any recommendations for us. So welcome and thanks for being here, and the mic is yours.
Thank you for the kind invitation. So water in Israel is the state of Israel, because we call the National Water Company, which is fully governmental entity, established 12 years prior to the establishment of the state of Israel. So whenever we need water, the water created life, water created people coming to places, water created agriculture, and water is one of the essential success of the state of Israel. And why? Mainly because of scarcity and the need, and the way that the people of Israel is always looking for a new solution. It started with 600,000 people here in 48. Nowadays it's more than 9 million. And we still, all over the years, are supplying 24/7 water to the state of Israel. If you can take a look at our neighborhood, you can find that they are not supplying in the same way, and they are missing water. And always I've been asked, what is the big success of Israel? success is not manufacturing membranes, not manufacturing sensors. You can find very good sensors in the US and other places in the world on membranes. The way that we are always trying to think ahead, always plan for the coming years, and implement the right way to solutions. So we are in the world covering almost 95% of the world water cycles. We are not supplying to the cities, we're not supplying to the cities. But all over, manufacturing, desalination, water treatment, the right convey, the water resuscitation, very good use of energy, very good use of chemicals. Of course, the way that we are treating the water and applying innovation. My previous role in the company was the area of innovation of the company. And I'm traveling all over the world. I'm trying to explain what our success. The success is the right integration. It's taking well-known solutions and apply them in the right way. So you can find many places that bring dissemination, but you cannot find places that bring dissemination in 50 cents for a cubic meter, 1 cubic meter. This is a real success. We are nowadays supplying between 60% to 80% of our water is a desalinated water. But still, in our system, you can find 5 sources of water. First of all, is the groundwater, 2 main sources, the coastal and the mountain. Then desalination of seawater and some groundwater. Still, we have a little bit surface water. Compared to Florida, it's a tropic sea. It's Sea of Galilee. And nowadays, which is very important to you also, is the reclaimed water, which is wastewater. It's the most important growing field in the world. Because nowadays, wastewater is not a waste, it's a source. And wastewater nowadays are converted to almost 90% of good water for agriculture in Israel. More than 60% of the water in Israel for agriculture are wastewater basically. So it is a very important source, and it can be even one very important solution for issues of algae blooming in Florida. So, coming to water quality. Water quality is very important. I will not drink about the water. Always water from the tap, because we are supplying reliable water to our citizens. And we are very proud of it. And I think that all of the water from the tap or drinking water should be not a bottle. But we can create a waste in other people. But water quality is very important, and we are controlling. And water quality nowadays is an holistic approach. First of all, the metering and the sensors. But it is not enough. About the sensors and the metering is the old philosophy of PLC and control. And about the control nowadays, because we are getting a huge amount of data, I am calling it the gold mine of data, is all the machine learning, artificial intelligence, and of course the cybersecurity. Because it's water quality and water safety. So if we're taking the right vision to control our streams and bring the right things on in source and bring the right regulation and enforce regulation, we can reduce dramatically the quality issues. So if people ask me what to do with the algae. So first of all, in Israel, we are mitigating the Sea of Galilee for many years. We converted all the nitrates and phosphorus also that are not entering the Sea of Galilee. But it's not enough. The first thing is to treat the water and not getting it to the water body. And enforce it. Then, when it's come to the water bodies, how to treat the water bodies. But before we are treating the water bodies, we need early warning systems to know that we are starting to face failures. So the early warning is one of the most important things, with the treatment and then the right control on the water treatment plant. And I know that this is a real issue also with all aspects of tourism, of parking and using the right way to back the water bodies. So there's no one solution. It's an holistic solution course, really frequently in source, measuring, censoring early morning, and then drinking the water. They are not doing any miracles there, but there are solutions that we should work out. And from my point of view, as an expert for the water utility, rainwater utility, is that we are not coming to teach. We are coming together and work and partner together. From my point of view, it's a win with the patient, and we'll be more than happy to work with you.
Hey, if anyone has any questions, the desalinization, so Israel does that cheaper than anywhere else, is that?
Exactly. Seawater for sure is more cheaper than any place.
So is there any limit to how much you can use the water that's desalinated? I mean, is that as good as water that just comes out of the ground at that point? Or are there limits to how effective it can be in different situations?
There are not any limits because there is scarcity and is the really new source of water in Israel. So nowadays, 60 to 80% of drinking water are coming from desalination. We have 5 big mega plants out of the seashore of the Mediterranean. We are going to build another 2 in the coming years. And if we take a forecast of 2050, we are thinking about another between 9 and 11 new plants because of the people of Israel, because of need. And one very important thing, we think that desalination can be the bridge for peace for our neighbors. And we can supply to our neighbors without any problem. There is no issue with technology. It's not important.
None of your neighbors, though, they don't have the technology to desalinate, or do they?
Egypt is starting and going. Jordan is at the same.
But so with desalinization, though, you guys will always have a water supply then.
Yes, but there is discussion also about desalination. Because desalination is lacking of minerals, and you have to add back minerals. So we started with the calcium, and we are adding calcium nowadays. But we started another discussion about magnesium, which is very important, iodine. So I think that in the coming years, we're only at the start of the revolution, started 15 years ago, where we will add minerals and other additional things to the water. That's the sign of water. It is not as the same as natural water, of course, but we are close.
Great. Anyone else have any questions?
Yeah, I do. How much, so as you started engaging in desalination, how much have you driven down the cost?
So we have to raise the cost, of course, but I think that the magnitude of the cost of the target of water related to real desalination is around 40%.
And the water that you're making available to neighbors in other countries, are you selling it in bulk to those other countries?
Yes. According to the peace agreement with the Palestinian Authority, Jordan, and a little bit with the Gaza Streets also, we can supply more, but it's only issues of decision, making the right decision.
Take it Hamas hasn't started desalinating anything down there in the
No, we are working together. We are supplying water and they are supplying missiles.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Anybody else?
I have a quick question. Have you seen, since you've started this process, how it's impacted health, the health of your citizens, as far as those who may not have had access to bottled water or purified water?
I don't think so, because we think that we are doing some kind of mixed water still. We have the natural water that we have been supplying many places. We didn't face any health issues that we can say that because of the science of water. There are some research that are saying that there are more heart attacks and other things that are growing. It's still the beginning. We think that magnesium will be the next thing that we will have, but in general, it's safe water. And nowadays, even in Europe, the state, we are starting to drink, and we can drink according to the right technologies, wastewater, reclaimed wastewater. It's safe.
I just wanted to follow up. I've been here since Thursday, but trying to look at some of these issues impacting both of our countries dealing with water quality. Obviously, as Commissioner of Agriculture, it's essential for not only our citizens, but also the future of agriculture in our state. And so the companies that I've been able to see in the research that I've seen here, I'm excited for the opportunity to collaborate and bring some of that technology back to Florida, because I do believe that water and environment is going to be the challenge of this generation that we have to fix. Otherwise, there won't be a future for our countries.
I mean, that would be important.
thank you very much. We appreciate your time. Thanks for the input. All right, next, I'd like to welcome Jacob Wimmensberg to discuss Israel's emergency management practices. He's the Director of Strategy and Cooperation at the Israel National Emergency Management Authority, which is part of the Israel Ministry of Defense. Obviously, emergency management is very important in Florida. Hopefully, we don't need to use it this summer. We have a clean summer, but we got to prepare. So we appreciate you coming and offering your insights.
Thank you, Governor. As one of the Israeli emergency management leadership, I have to tell you that we feel much less emergency while you are here. So your support, your vision in the state of Israel makes us feel much better and safer. But in the times you're not here, Israel, unlike other countries that have one permanent threat on them, have the privilege and luxury to have all of them free of charge in one basket. And that poses some questions that we would be very happy to share with our colleagues, friends in Florida. And we have discussed with Mr. Moskowitz on that already, on exchanging information and knowledge and do real things together. So the basic concept of the State of Israel, because we are in a constant emergency situation, the question is how do you cope and how we deal with it in a successful way, in a manner, in a way that does not affect almost on the daily life of the people here. People used to have emergency and they stop, functioning, but this couldn't be the case in Israel because Israel is an energetic island in the neighborhood, and sir, you have mentioned that. On one hand, we have the ocean, which gives good things as water. On the other hand, we have some neighborhood that is not so much supporting of us. But even if they were, their capabilities are not that high that we can trust them in time of crisis. So we have to develop ourselves continuity of our business plan. We have to develop functional continuity of the critical infrastructures. For example, the structure that my predecessors mentioned, how we defend on them. We have to develop on this other side of the triangle the resiliency of the people, and they both interchange. If there is quality of function, there is quality of resilience, and vice versa. And above all, we need to develop, but that's what we're doing, trust of the people. Because in time of crisis, people would love to run to Google, they would love to run to the internet and see what's going on, to social media. Would they believe us, the government? So we are opening and developing ways not to fight, God forbid, with the social media, but to use it for the best of the people. So these three elements together create the ability to function regular as possible in time of crisis. And above all, we have not to fight or to deal with the prior event or last emergency. We have to think out of the box all the time. For example, artificial intelligence, how it will help us to manage event. And we're developing right now tools for that. Generally speaking, sir, this is our strategy, our policy, to move forward all the time and to make sure that the people are part of the solution. They're not only clients, but they're part of the solution by volunteering, by using their advices, by using their capabilities, and to see that all of that is not standing in one point. We run all the time. All of that we have to share with friends like Florida. And with your permission, I would like, at the end of my words, to say, welcome to Israel. Welcome home. This is your home, Governor DeSantis, and the people of Florida, and we feel that with Florida as well. So thank you for coming here.
Great. Does anyone have any questions?
I just have one question. Is there, during any of your programs, a follow-up for mental health? Knowing that emergency times, people are either at their best or at their worst, but are going through a tragic moment in their lives. Is mental health or that type of services provided through the process?
Yes, ma'am. When we talk about resiliency of people, it is divided to different scales. There is the communal or the national resiliency. There is the social resiliency, but there is also individual resiliency. So the country understands that if a person, he or she, is in a crisis that can affect the entire neighborhood, the entire community. So we open through the Ministry of Health centers that we call them stress centers in time of crisis in the event themselves. So people who have some emotional problems or cognitive issues in the time of crisis, so we're not waiting until it ends. In real time, they come to our stress centers and they get whatever is needed.
Well, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. Do any other members of the cabinet have any comments or anything else?
I'd just like to thank the embassy who worked diligently to allow all of us in here today and the media accessibility, and also for working with the governor's staff to set up an overflow room for anyone who wanted to watch these proceedings. And I know the Florida Channel communicated with the staff to make sure they could feed this directly to Tallahassee. We're so glad that those in Tallahassee were with us today, and we were able to do all of this using technology. Thank you very much.
Anybody else? Well, I just want to say, I mean, it was mentioned by Ambassador Friedman last night that I came as National Security Subcommittee Chairman in 2017 on an embassy mission, saying we got to do it, and you know, everyone said, well, they all say they're going to do it, it's just not going to happen. I believed it would, and it did, and then I was able to come in May of 2018 for the opening of the embassy, which is a really special thing. And I definitely didn't think at that time that the following May that I'd be here leading the cabinet meeting, but you know, sometimes these things come full circle, and so I think it's a great way to really, this is kicking off the Jerusalem leg of our trip. We're going to be meeting with more business leaders, but we're going to have the delegation get to see things like the city of David. So when you start talking about, you know, the state of Florida was made a state in the middle of the 18th or 19th century. The United States, of course, founded, you know, in the last quarter of the 18th century. And then here we'll be standing in a place where you can go back to the times of King David, and they will read the Bible and show you from the ruins what they were talking about. If you haven't experienced it, it's something that is really, really impactful, and it really shows that you know, what's happened here over thousands of years has had such a huge impact on Western civilization, on the United States. I mean, I think that the values that our country were founded on, a lot of them are rooted, you know, in this part of the world, and in particularly in Jerusalem. So I'm really glad that we're going to have folks be able to come out and do it. And so that's going to be special. But also after this cabinet meeting adjourns, we're going to go to the King David Hotel because the embassy time is limited, and we wanted to have our full delegation there for the signing of the anti-Semitism bill that our legislature just passed. Overwhelmingly, I think it was without dissent in the Florida legislature, to say, you know, just as we have our educational institutions combat things like racial discrimination, you know, we view religious discrimination and anti-Semitism should be treated the same, and that includes things like the BDS movement. So I think it was really strong, and I think that the people of Israel should know, you know, Florida is a great place to be. It's a great place to visit. It's a great place to invest in, because the people of Florida really appreciate what the state of Israel has done and continues to do. And with that, we will adjourn the meeting and proceed to the bill signing ceremony.